suit up with me and my demons. I want the lifestyle, courtside, front row got bitches like I wanna meet them. I had two bad things coming up to me, they tryna talk, but having a three, some niggas be hating, let's give them.
Welcome. And again, sorry last week we didn't come with an episode last week, and as y'all see, we ain't got Pluto in today or Money Mitch in today. But as I always said, I'm never gonna leave you guys 2 weeks without doing an episode. Sorry for last week not coming in and doing the episode. But today, this episode is truly about a case I've been hearing right now, and about the Iowa versus Henry Dinkins. The reason I wanted to bring this episode, tell you guys about this episode, because I have a tendency to always correlate what happens in what goes on in the world right now, and be able to correlate it still into dating still in 2023, or just dating right now, being single and things of that sort. Now, what I want to talk about this case and what made this case really stick out to me, the people in this case is Iowa versus Henry Dinkins, as I said. Now, the thing about this case was that Henry Dinkins has a child with a lady by the name Aisha Terrell, right? So he has a son with that lady, but that lady has two other kids, a girl and a boy, right? So in total, she has 3 kids, right? So he has a son with her. So basically, I don't want to sit the whole case, but I'm gonna just give you some synopsis of how it kind of went. So basically, he goes to go pick up his son. At that moment, his son says, "Hey, I want to bring my sister. Can Breasia come?" And her name is Breasia-Terrell, and she was 10 years old. Breasia, he was like, "Sure, she could come." Then the other son, which is older, said he wants to come too. At that moment, Henry Dinkins says, "Nah, you can't come, but she can come. I don't have enough room." Now, you have a back seat and you have a front seat that was still available, but you told him that he can't come. Now, understand this. So now he brings the kids. He got Breasia and his son. They're going to spend a night. So now they go someplace and play video games, and then they come back to currently Henry Dinkins' girlfriend's house, which they've never been before. Now, understand, Henry Dinkins doesn't really have a place to live, but I'm going to break that down to you as well. So he lives with the girlfriend, which her name is Andrea Culberson, right? Now, they go there, they play video games all night, and at that moment, basically it goes like this. The way the story is, they wake up, they don't see the girl. They say, "Where's this girl? Where's this girl?" Because this is what happened when I first heard the case. Before the trial started coming up and stuff started being exposed. So basically it goes like, "Hey, we woke up and she was gone. I don't know where she's at." Now understand this, a 10-year-old girl is gone. He doesn't call the mother. He says that he's been driving around looking for this girl. Right? But to sum it all up, basically, this man sexually offended her, and raped, and the verdict comes out September the 15th. So wake up in the morning, she's not there. They look for the girl, can't find the girl, trying to figure out what's going on. And just to let you guys know, Henry Dinkins is a sex offender. Now, keep that in mind. So, basically, they can't find the girl, couldn't find it at all, right? Now, there's so many things that's going on with this case, because they showed when the cops first come to the house, they're asking him questions. He's talking, the mother there, she upset, like, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" He like, "Yo, I don't know where she at." Like, you see all this being played out on camera. He's talking to the cops. The mother's getting upset. Then they go to the girlfriend, because they're right at the house where everybody was, where she was last seen. So they go to the girlfriend, which is Andrea Culberson, and says, "Hey, we need to just go to the house and just ask some questions." And the girlfriend says, "No, we woke up. We didn't see her, and I don't know." And then she looks, but I'm not gonna lie. When you look at the interrogation, or you look at when the video camera, the police comes to the place, she has this look like, "Yo, did you?" She actually said it. Did he say it was okay to come in the house? And the cop says yes. Now they go in the house. You look. He's looking around and all this other stuff and stuff like that. So that's all you see at that moment. Then you see later that the interrogation room where he's at when they're interrogating. But the interesting thing, the reason he had to come in to get, well, how he got pulled in or got arrested, because he violated because he didn't submit the fact that he was a sexual a sex offender. So he didn't register as a sex offender. So that's how he became arrested. But then during the interrogation, what made it so bad was during the interrogation, he was clueless. Every question they asked him, he was like, "Nah, I don't know that. We looked around everywhere. Why didn't you call?" "I didn't call because I was this is how he's doing the interrogations. I'm like, this dude is guilty by a long shot, right? But the killer scenario with this case was that when you watch this, I saw it on Law and Crime on YouTube, right? And what you found is that the girlfriend, now here's the crazy part. What you will find out later is that when the girl, that night, when all the kids went to sleep, the girlfriend was asleep in the house. She said, I woke up probably around I was knocked out, and I normally sleep hard, and I normally just sleep all through the night. She said, I woke up at 3 o'clock because I had to go to the bathroom. When I woke up, I didn't see Henry or Breasia. What? So she said, she's on the stand now. So she says, I didn't see them. And that was around 3 o'clock in the morning. She was trying to call him. His phone was left in the house. Then around 3:30, he walks in the house. She doesn't say, hey, where's Breasia? Hey, where were you at? Hey, this is what she didn't ask. She said, I didn't ask any questions. I still think this lady needs to be arrested, to be honest with you. So she says, I didn't ask him, but she comes in at 3. He comes in at 3:30. He rumbles in a closet. Now she knows that there's guns in that closet. So he rumbles. She don't ask him any questions, and he just goes back out of the house. So she goes to the window, and at that moment, she sees the little girl Breasia standing by the car. But remember, she woke up at 3 o'clock and didn't see that he was there. So he could have been gone way longer than that, did whatever he wanted to do to that girl, and then it was time to execute the girl. Now, I don't know why people do crimes today at this day and time, because you are filmed everywhere you go. They've seen them at Walmart picking up bleach. They seen him at a gas station at that time of night trying to fill up his gas tank because he was like, it was just so much stuff that was going on. And it's a sad scenario. And this is where I'm really going with this podcast tonight, or this topic. That we have to take care of our children. We have to take care of our children. The reason I say this is because in this case, This was a guy who used to deal with the mother of his son. And during that time, she had a daughter, which was Breasia, and an older kid. He has a son with her. This man was around her children. In the interrogation, he's sitting up there saying, hey, I'm surprised y'all questioning me, and these are my kids. These are my kids. I love these kids. I don't know why y'all questioning me. No, we just asking questions because, you were the last one that were around her. And he was like, I was searching for her all over. He was like, did you search? Oh, I never searched there. Did you search it? No, I didn't search it. I searched everywhere. Can you tell me the streets? Well, I don't know what streets I was on. I don't know. Guys, you got to watch this case. And again, it's Iowa versus Henry Dinkins. And the reason why I would tell you to watch this case is so that you guys got to be careful about who you bring around your children. And I'll tell you why. We bring in this era of dating, right? How many of you go on the internet and look up the person you're dating? Look up the person you just met to see if they're a sexual offender, to see if they have a record, to see, especially if you have children. This is just this case. But by doing this case and by looking and studying this case, I looked at other things and realized how sick the world is. There was one case where a woman sold her kid, 5-year-old daughter, to a man. He raped, killed the daughter. And what she said was, I didn't want him to kill her, but you wanted him to be able to rape her though? You got to be careful of what you have. No matter how lonely you may feel, no matter how down in the dumps you are, your job is to protect your child. I have children. And to me, I don't play that you spend a night over here. No, because I don't know who that person has in their household. When I was in the military, just to show you that you don't know people, when I was in the military, I had a first sergeant. No, I had a sergeant that was actually that I worked under. And after I left out of the military, I had friends still in the military, and people would say, I would call and be like, yo, what's going on with Sergeant such and such or this person? They was like, yo, Sergeant such and such, he's locked up. I said, what are you talking about? Yo, he was molesting his daughter. I said, what? Now, I said what on the basis that I knew this guy. For 4 years, I was around this guy every day. When it was a holiday, I would go to their house. I'm in my 20s, like 19, 19, 20, 21. And I knew these people. And you couldn't tell me that would be the scenario that would happen. But it did. It's our job, technically, because dating is difficult. And I don't want to really transition it to dating, but I have to. And the reason I have to is because you see so many, just like this woman right here, the girlfriend of Henry Dinkins. This man was a sex offender. He just didn't, he was with this woman for 6 years. 6 years. And she didn't know this about this man. The only reason he got arrested because they just moved to this location. He didn't register in this location, but he had to register at another location. Now, if you see this woman, she real timid. She probably don't get nothing. She probably has low self-esteem. And she probably accepts everything. He probably beats on her. That's allegedly. But the things that people will allow based on how they feel about themselves, don't ever allow yourself to feel that way. Don't allow. And it's easy for me to say that because maybe I'm confident in myself. I will never allow anybody around my children because it's my job to protect. I can have friends, but if I have friends, believe me, I'm one of those people that I put people names in there. Or at the same time, ain't nobody being left with my child. Not at all. You don't know people. You don't know people. There's another scenario I would tell you guys. If you're dating, you have children, and you date a man that don't have children, do you really think that's a wise decision? And this is going to parents. This statement that I'm about to make goes to parents. As a parent, we know what it is to have our child cry, the frustrations it could be, especially when they're young. Or you may have a son that's a crybaby. You have a daughter that could be a crybaby. And we know as parents, sometimes all that whining can be frustrating. But we're the parents. Now, you bring somebody in your household, they don't have no kids, never had kids. And they hear that. They get frustrated, nagging. They won't eat. You're putting that person that's not the father or not the mother of that child in those situations. They can't handle some people cannot handle the frustration. You think I'm bullshitting? You think I'm bullshit? Look at every case where you've seen the boyfriend beat the child to death because it just wouldn't stop crying. Woman went to work, left him to be the babysitter. The baby wouldn't stop crying, or the baby wouldn't eat. He got frustrated. He hit the baby, punched the baby, slammed the baby. Again, be careful about who you date. Oh, they could be the nicest person. They could be all that. Think about it. Think about it. These are, to me, you have to understand that not only do I see so many podcasts, I see so many things that's on the YouTube, everybody talking about love. They talk about you got to make this amount. You got to be this, you got to be this, you got to treat me like this, but nobody ever talks about what you got to be as a parent, how you got to be with my kids. I'm a package deal. I want to know what it is that we always talk about me. But let's be honest, the older we get, we got some baggage with us. I have children. You got children. Let's talk about that. Nobody talks about that part. But look how crazy this world is. But yet, the only thing we talk about, how much money you gonna make, how you gonna treat me. You better spoil me. You better do this. Nah, let's not just talk about that. Let's talk about the real shit. Because from what I see, this world is crazy. So I know it's not good because look, we're humans. So obviously you want the companionship. You get that lonely feeling. But you got to be careful about what you have or who you have around. Be careful. And I don't knock me for saying this. Be careful with a man. No kids. You got daughters. He want to be in your life so bad. Oh, I can take on that responsibility. I can take on that. Nah, because guess what? Predators prey on women with little kids. Because that's in-house. You don't know how these men looking at your children, looking at your daughters, you don't know. A lot of y'all be ready to grab any Tom, Dick, or Harry off the street or just got locked up. He was bald. He got money. Find out what he was locked up for. How many of you guys do that? How many of you guys investigate the people you date? Only thing it seems like, well, he treat me good. He buy me this. Find out about him. Do we even talk to each other? Do you even have conversations? Or do you just want that thing itched? Do you want that thing itch? But you worrying about you. You got to understand what you bringing around your children. That's your children. They're innocent. And I'm telling you, this case and the cases that I seen after this, by paying attention to this, it made me realize, I'm like, yo, the world is evil and it's sick. And I'll tell anybody, people ask me, they was like, yo, you started having kids late. I said, you want to know the answer why? I'll give you the real answer. I didn't want to have kids. It's not that I didn't want, but I didn't want because I knew even back then the world was scary because things I've seen in my life. I knew that the world is a scary place to bring a child because one thing I realized is this. I got to worry about somebody else. See, worrying about me is one thing. I could be reckless, but now you have something in your life that you have to now worry about. And that, I mean, it's a beautiful feeling to have a child, but that always being scared because you have something that's innocent and anything can possibly happen. From school shootings, I'm telling you, the world is going crazy. I still see, like, I sometimes look at my life and say, dang, like I literally would walk from here, me and my brother, we was a year apart, we would walk all over Newark. Walk everywhere. Man, I can't imagine because we see too much stuff now. Hell no. To this day, I still be holding my son's hand no matter where we walk. No. Because you never understand that there's a predator out there somewhere just sitting, just looking like the minute they go in there, the minute you step away from that child, I'm going to go grab it and run off. Oh, have I seen that? They show so, it's like, it is imperative. No matter how lonely you feel, do your investigation on anybody. Don't give a damn if that person's offended by you asking them all these questions. You damn right. I have to ask these questions. See, I can protect myself, but if I'm bringing you in my life and I have a child and we together and this is a family, am I going to probably be bringing my kid with me everywhere if I'm like, yo, I'm going to the store real quick? And no, I can't do that. If I ain't do my homework, if I didn't do this, if I didn't do that, it is your job to do your homework on anybody that you bring around your child. Handling your business is you, but you put innocence, you put a child in a place where they look at adults, they don't know evil yet. That girl who went over there to her brother's father's place, she thought, hey, and the son said, hey, Dad, I want my sister to come with me because they was, from what they said, they were always stuck at the hips. That was his big sister, and they wanted to be stuck at the hips. And this happened in 2020. Her body was found basically a year later by some fishermen at a pond. And the sad scenario was that girl basically thought she was just going to chill with her brother, and they had snacks. They had a lot of snacks, and they got all the video games. She went over there basically with a guy who she knew as her brother's father. But all that moment, he was looking at her in a lustful way. Now, people said things about the mother like, well, if he was a sex offender, look, how many of y'all, she probably didn't dig into that, but what's the average? There's no way in hell that y'all going to say that y'all probably investigated every man y'all ever met in y'all life. But the reality, what I'm trying to say is start doing it. Start thinking about the people who you bring in front of your children. That is your pride and joy. That is your goal. That is your what is it? Your priceless entity. That is your offspring. It is your responsibility to protect. And when you protect, and when I say protect, I mean know who you bring around your child. like I said, the scariest thing was that this girl had no idea that that would be the moment, that would be the last that she would be alive. 10 years old she was when she passed away. And to me, I want this guy, because as I stated earlier, September 15th is when the verdict is coming. And he wanted to waive his right to a jury trial. He wanted it only to be done by the judge. So he didn't have a jury. He didn't want a jury trial. He did not want to be judged by the peers, because the stuff they would have seen, he thought they probably would have just said guilty, guilty, guilty. So he wanted it to be done based on just the judge, because a judge probably can look at things differently than what people that in the system would probably look at it. So he did elect not to have a jury trial, right? Now, the one of the things that I also said, and what made me also look at this, right, is that we look at so many things, right? And the things that we look at, and like I said, you can watch social media. You can watch all this stuff. When they talk about sex trafficking, we don't realize that there are issues that are going on in the world today, right? And I think we don't protect ourselves. we over-sexualize everything. And again, we still don't accept that the world is so sick. And so sometimes you say, oh, well, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. If I do this, men shouldn't be this way. And people should. Look, your job is to protect. Your job is to truly protect. So, yeah, you may be correct in saying that, why should we have to do this, or why should we have to do this? Why should I have to cover ourselves? Why should we have to do this? Because we're living in a world that everything is super over-sexualized. You got people that sit down in their homes and watch so much crazy stuff on TV and succumb to these wicked desires that they may have, and these impulses. For a man to feel, now just think about this. This man was already a sex offender. This man had that desire in him to take a 10-year-old girl that was in his care, to actually take her and think he was going to sexually assault, kill, come back home, and call the mother and say, we woke up and she wasn't here. And what makes it crazy is that he truly thought he could get away with that. And by his impulsiveness to think that by having for his woman or his girlfriend to be up at 3 p.m. because she had to go to the bathroom, he sees her, she goes back in, and she's saying they didn't have a conversation. I truly believe that her ass needs to get arrested too, to be honest with you. I think her ass needs to get arrested, because I find it weird that she said she woke up, she looked, and realized Henry wasn't there and Breasia wasn't there. She even said, I felt it was kind of weird that wasn't the case. And then he walks back in the house without her. Don't ask, oh, he didn't say nothing to me. He didn't say nothing to me. So he didn't say anything to you. You didn't think to say, hey, where is Breasia? And why weren't you here? I woke up at 3 o'clock. I ain't see you or Breasia. Now you come back in the house without Breasia. What's going on here? You don't even call the cops to even ask. The cops come the next day. You don't say nothing even at that moment. And then you said when he came back at 3:30, left out, you see the girl, then he has to come back home. And you still didn't have a conversation? So, even her story don't sound right. She knew more, but that was the key witness. So I guess they probably didn't say, you know what, we're not going to do anything but against you, but you have to be the key witness and be able to tell us exactly what happened. This right here, this case to me was literally something that like struck a nerve within my body by even listening to this case. Because as I said, it had so many different things that you could take from it. It made you think about, you don't know who you have, because I doubt the mother of Breasia, which her name is Aisha, I doubt she thought that when she allowed her daughter to go there, that she thought that was going to happen. She could not have even imagined that. But for it to happen, and then it happened to the father of your son, him to be the prime suspect, it just shows you that you can't trust nobody. And it's sad to be living at a time where you can't trust anybody. And what I would tell most people, I say, please, and if I could give any advice, date a man or date a woman who has kids too. I'm going to just tell you that. Because again, like I said, it's too many stories where you hear women dating men or women who have children, especially young kids, infants, toddlers, and you date a young man that don't got no kids, or you date a man that don't have kids. Do you know by having kids, one of the key things you got to have is patience? And for those who are parents, y'all understand what I'm talking about? As a parent, one of the main things you got to have is patience. You can't throw a person in front of a child that ain't used to having a child, don't have a child, ain't being around their child to know how to handle your child. And some of us know we got some kids that are damn headaches. And you going to put that headache in front of a person? Look, think about it. Look how many cases have happened where you seen the bad results that happened. Look, as I always said, I do this podcast basically to talk about everything. Like I said, the podcast is called Shoot the Ish. I hope for those who continue to watch, continue to subscribe, please, guys, I'm going to just be honest with you. You got to hit that subscribe button. It's free. You got to hit that like. It's free. Leave a comment. Now, one thing I always say, I know way more people that I look at the comments. I see 2 comments. I'm like, really? Really? 2? I know. What? I speak to more people than that. So all I got to say, like, leaving a comment, it does a huge thing for the channel. Leaving a like, it does a huge thing for the channel. It is definitely needed. I definitely appreciate it. I'm still trying to get this channel to grow. Like I said, I talk about topics, but I always be able to veer it off. And like I said, one of the things that I say when I do this podcast is this. I like the people who watch it to interact. I want you guys to see that the things that you say need to be done, I listen, look, and try to fix it. See if I can make things better. That's what I'm trying to do. Certain topics that you want us to talk about, because as you know, Pluto ain't hit. We definitely going to talk about it. But like I said, you're going to see us one day talk about some crazy stuff, some current events. You're going to hear us talk about some silly stuff. You're going to hear me talk about some serious stuff. But to me, one of the reasons why, like I said, I've done the channel is because sometimes I think we talk and people don't have these type of conversations. Like I said, we all hear about the dating conversation, love, and people ain't nothing. People lies. Let's talk about the real stuff. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about being careful what you bring around our children. You got to be careful about what this dating pool is. You got to be careful out here. Because like I said, we only talking about how much a man makes, how much she make, whether or not she look like this, whether or not you got this, whether or not he got this, whether or not he on his own. But she got, that's all cute. That's all cute. But you better be careful who you bring around your children. Because like I said, for those who haven't been watching it, just check out YouTube Iowa versus Henry Dinkins. They have they have the what is it? They show him in his interrogation. Once you watch that interrogation, you're like, what? Once you watch when they first pull up to the house with the cops and the stuff he was saying, you like, what? What his girlfriend said, you like, what? So they, in the trial, I think it was 14 days the trial was going through. You see day 1, day 2, day 3, 14. And I seen the closing arguments, great closing arguments. And like I said, the verdict is going to come down September the 15th. And I'll definitely give you guys an update while we're doing probably another show. I'll just let you know what the verdict was, but I'll tell any of you guys, check it out. But again, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Shoot the Ish. And like I said, I definitely love to bring different content to you guys, and help me make this channel better. And again,
I want the lifestyle, courtside, from got bitches like I want to meet them. I had 2 bad things coming up to me, they trying to